Hey guys, how's it going? Lagbro here, and welcome to my in-depth crafting series where we go through the different crafting methods of Path of Exile. This guide is made in 3.9 Metamorph League, and items might be subject to change in coming patches. Before you start crafting, make some research on PoEDB on what item level you need for the modifiers you want. For example, getting a tier 1 life on a body armor requires the item level of 86 or higher. Also be aware that tier 1 modifiers are rare, so if your budget isn't high enough, maybe it's better to go for a lower item level and be happy with tier 2 rolls. Okay, so with no further ado, let's get on with the video. Part 2. Chaos Spam or Alch and Scour. Before you start chaos spamming items, consider crafting methods that might be cheaper because of the current meta. There might be an energy shield meta and pristine fossils are super cheap, or a summoner meta so jagged fossils are cheap. Also consider essence crafting. I will go more in depth on this later in this video. And the next video following this is fossil crafting. What items do we craft with this method? Basically any item you would alt regal craft, but with much higher cost and also much higher potential. You can, instead of getting 3 good mods and then multi-modding when you alt regal, you can get 5 or even 6 good mods and a finished item. This is also the way to get a base to metacraft on, like getting triple tier 1 suffixes or triple tier 1 prefixes and then scour the others and trying to exalt slam the rest of the affixes. More on this crafting method in another episode. Okay, so let's go into some specific items to chaos spam craft and what to look for. For starters, crafting any jewels can be very profitable with chaos spamming. 3 modded jewels can be crafted with alt regal and doesn't hold that much value unless they have insanely good rolls. However, crafting with chaos spam can land you a 4 modded jewel with either triple damage modifiers and 1 life modifier, or a jewel with quad damage modifiers, and both of them can sell for multiple exalts. Look to chaos spam jewels that fits the current meta. In 3.10 we are probably looking at a wand meta. However, this is just speculation because we are still pre-patch notes. How it looks right now though, I think wands will be very popular and chaos spamming on a hypnotic eye jewel might be very profitable. Just make sure that the abyss jewel you craft on is item level 83 or higher. This gives you the possibility to hit tier 1 energy shield and tier 1 life, as well as all the other modifiers. So what modifiers are we looking for on a hypnotic eye jewel? Flat life or flat energy shield, flat elemental damage to spells while dual wielding or flat elemental damage to spells while holding a shield, flat elemental damage to spells, global crit strike multiplier, global crit multi if you killed recently, and damage penetrates 2% elemental resistance if you killed recently. There are some more modifiers you can look for as well, but these are the main modifiers I'm looking for when I'm crafting jewels. If you manage to hit 3 or 4 of those modifiers, you probably made quite a bit of money, so price check the jewel. And always price check the jewel if you hit tier 1 life. Crafting bases for jewels are always super cheap, and getting a 20 to like 30 chaos orb return on a jewel with life and some other modifiers gives you more chaos orbs to keep crafting with. Our next item that might be worth chaos spamming on is boots. The ultimate goal here is to get both percent chance to get elusive on critical, and also you have tailwind if you dealt a critical strike recently. However, both of these mods are very rare and it's better to use Awakener Orb to craft this. We'll take that in another episode. So what I would recommend crafting is on a pair of 2-tone boots with Hunter or Redeemer influence on them, or both. Preferably of item level 86 plus to be able to get tier 1 movement speed. But these can be very expensive, so maybe just go for item level 84 so you can get tier 2 movement speed and you can get tier 1 resistances. Look for elusive on crit if you have a pair of Redeemer boots, and look for tailwind if you have a pair of Hunter boots. However, when crafting boots, take a little more time to look at what modifiers you roll, so you don't roll over a very high resistance boots or a high life plus 30% movement speed plus and some resistance boots. It might be better to sell those boots and buy another pair of boots for another crafting base. A fellow YouTuber named Path of Math has a video on chaos spamming boots and he made quite a bit of profit from that. Link is in the description. Other items I would recommend crafting with chaos spamming is jewelry, amulets and rings, and in some rare occasions belts. The reason for this is that in 3.9 we got a new item called catalysts, and these increase the chance of getting, for example, attribute modifiers on an amulet or attack modifiers on a ring. So choose the appropriate base and use a catalyst catalyst on the item when the item is white, then you get 5% quality per catalyst instead of the 1% you get when the item is rare. For example, abrasive catalyst on a steel ring to increase the chance of getting attack modifiers, or a intrinsic catalyst on an amulet to increase the chance of getting attribute modifiers for a dex, int, or strength stacking build. Be aware that high resistance rings and high resistance amulets are also worth quite a bit of currency, so look at the modifiers and maybe sell them and buy another base. Items I would not recommend crafting with Chaos Spam right now is weapons. Jagged, Scorch, Metallic and Frigid Fosses has been very cheap the last couple of leagues and give much higher chance of landing the modifiers you want. The exception to this is, in my opinion, Convoking Wands, the minion modifier wand. First of all, bound fossils have been a lot more expensive than the other ones, and when crafting a minion wand, the number one modifier you're looking for is +1 to level of all minion skill gems. So chaos spamming is a good way to get that, and hopefully some other useful mods or maybe an open suffix or prefix to craft another good modifier. There's a few of the items you can craft with chaos spam. There is a lot of item that's worth crafting with chaos orbs, and going through all of them would take a lot of my time and a lot of your time. And if you're looking for any specific crafts or how to craft a specific item, you're always welcome into my Discord or on my stream to ask me anything about that, and I'll help you out. You can find the links in the description. So when should you use this method? When you're looking for an item that is much better than a multi-modded item, also when you have a lot of currency to spend. This is also a really good crafting method when exalts are, say, expensive in Chaos Orbs. So say you get 180 Chaos Orbs for one exalt, then it might be pretty okay to get one exalt return on your 180 Chaos Orbs spammed. So second part of this video, we're going to talk about essence crafting. This method is basically the same as chaos spamming. The only difference is that you guarantee a modifier that you get from the essence. The essences are split into different, let's call it loudness, which represent the strength of the modifier it gives. Where the loudest one, deafening, is the highest and gives you the highest tier of modifier, and whispering is the lowest and gives you the lowest tier of modifier. Shrieking and deafening essence, which are the two highest, works like a chaos orb, so you can use them on rare items. Screaming essence and lower has to be used on a normal items, so you have to scour an item and then use the essence. The sweet spot, in my opinion, for essence crafting is the Shrieking essence, which is a good balance between cost and a good tier of a modifier, and you also don't have to spend the Scouring orb. Okay, so why would we use essence craft over chaos orb spamming? I mean, chaos orbs are much easier to buy in bulk, and essences might be really hard to buy, a lot of them, at least for cheap. So you should start using essences as soon as you get them while you're leveling and while you're in the acts. Low level essences will be useless when you get to maps because they don't roll that high modifiers. And when you are in maps, you should start looking for specific stats that you need. Say you want life on your body armor, so you just use a essence of greed and you guarantee life on it with your craft. It still might be shit, but at least you have life on your body armor. Endgame crafting with essences are far more getting the stats you really need or you normally can't get on that item slot. For example, crafting a belt with intelligence can only be done with essences. This is very good for, say, an int stacking build. You get an elder belt and you craft it with the int essence, and you can get percent attributes as well. Or using like an essence of horror on a Shaper or Elder Helmet to get socketed gems deal 30% more elemental damage, together with some socketed gems are supported by concentrated effect or inspiration to get a pseudo 6 link. In 3.9, using Essence of Fear was very popular because there was a lot of minion builds, and that guarantees a minion damage roll on the weapon. So in conclusion, with essence crafting, look up what stats you need on your item or what stats you want on your item. Maybe there's a good cheap essence for just that modifier, or maybe it's better to chaos spam it. The next video will be on fossil crafting, and stay tuned for that one. I hope this guide helped you understand this crafting method. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or drop by my Twitch. I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays. Link in the description. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you loved it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part of the series.